Well, this week, barley and sugar beet growers are meeting here in Billings for the 2022 Montana and Wyoming Barley and Sugar Beet Symposium. Of course, day one is focused on barley, and day two, it's all about sugar beets. Of course, in the next couple of days, we'll talk about the sugar beet side of the industry, but first, we have a special guest. Lester Jones from the National Beer Wholesalers Association is one of the featured speakers this week here in Billings on the barley side of the business. And Lester, of course, in agriculture for the past year and a half or so, we've been talking about supply chain issues, and even in your industry, same could be said.
Oh yeah, it's all about supply chain. It's all about CPI today, at least. Today was the big release for the December CPI numbers, 7% inflation. Lots of confusion out there, and I'm sure consumers are feeling a lot of anxiety with hearing these numbers. And for us, it's about beer, right? Because we're beer distributors. We move beer. We move a lot of beer, billions and billions of cases a year. So when we hear what's going on, and and beer starts with barley, right? It starts with barley, gets turned into malt, it meets some cans, it meets some packaging, and eventually it finds its way to consumers. So all of these things that are going on today are very important to ultimately how and where we buy our beer and how much we have to pay for it. So we're going to talk a lot about that today.
I bet you are. And of course, without barley, there is no beer. And out here in this neck of the woods, Montana and Wyoming more specifically, our growers truly do raise some of the highest quality barley in the entire world.
Oh yeah, we've got great barley here in Montana. You have great barley. I don't. I'm from D.C., but you guys in Montana have great barley for us, and it does end up in lots of products from Anheuser-Busch and your premium lights all the way down into your specialty high-end crafts, and even so your imports from Mexico actually use American barley. So it's a big industry for us. And overall, when you look at the total beer industry, you can see 2 million people employed. You can see thousands of agricultural jobs, thousands of manufacturing jobs. So just the economic impact of just something as for something like barley that gets turned into beer, this has this huge economic impact from jobs to wages to taxes and everything. It's something we love to talk about.
Let's talk about some of the preferences that consumers are demanding of the entire supply chain here of late.
Yeah. So listen, because there's no doubt America is changing, and how America changes obviously impacts the beer they drink, right? I like to tell people all the time that the beer industry kind of reflects what's happening in the country. And we're growing older. We have less kids. Millennials are finally reaching that age of maturity where they have jobs and they're buying houses. I think you guys are experiencing some of that here in Montana with housing prices. And at the same time, baby boomers are kind of aging out of the marketplace. All that is driving the dynamics of the alcohol beverage industry. And so we've seen maybe 20 years ago, a lot of the beer industry was all about premium lights and sub-premiums and a little bit of imports. And now, leap forward to 2022, I guess. Wow. And all of a sudden, there's a whole new dynamic of what types of products people are demanding. And we see a lot more crafts. We see a lot more specialties. We see a lot more imports. Well, that's a reflection of actually how our country has changed to reflect the beers that we drink. And I think it's a beautiful story to tell, and it's interesting. So I'm looking forward to telling everyone here a little bit more about that story.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you out here in Billings, Montana. And of course, it all starts with that high quality barley we raise out here in Montana and Wyoming. That's a look at your farm and ranch news. Have a great day.